Salute, everybody. Welcome to BXJEDI76 Sports Talk. This is BXJEDI76. Salute to Mikey in the chat. Salute everyone out there listening to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all out there. Let's get back. We got a lot of things to unpack. I'm glad you guys are aboard here this beautiful Tuesday, 25th of May, 2021. We got the New York Yankees tonight, opening the series with the Baltimore Orioles. We got Corey Cool coming off of his no-hitter. He comes out again, takes on the struggling Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays have lost 6 in a row. Simeon was up at bat. The game just started, so we'll see that. We'll keep an eye on that. And I like the Yankees. They're right now, they're 6-game winning streak. Although the Tampa Bay Rays are hot as a pistol, they have won 11 straight games. And they're putting the Yankees. And I'm going to go over the American League East since we're talking about the New York Yankees currently right now. And we can see the Yankees. They're hitting their stride. They're finally getting good pitching. You know, they had a 35 inning scoreless streak. It was snapped the other day by Walter Peralta. He gave up a 2-run homer. We also saw them resilience, a walk by Aaron Judge after Chapman gave up their lead. They swept the Chicago White Sox, who is leading the Central Division. That was a very good series. That 3-game series, the sweep. They could have been either way. Either way, the Yankees just came out and they just pitched. You know, classic baseball. There are a lot of hitting and running, and a lot of moving the guys around and real small ball winning baseball. I like to see that. Not relying on the home run. And it's going to get warm, guys. As you can tell, the weather is starting to heat up and the ball will start to fly soon. Although this year, I think there's not going to be too much home runs this year. I think they're saying the juice ball or dock ball that's not going to allow the ball to fly out like it was in the past. But the warm weather's coming. You're going to get that warm jet stream. And these guys, are very strong. And the ballparks are smaller. And bad pitching always shows up. So good hitters will hit bad pitching. So I see the home runs around the majors going up. And it's going to be a nice, interesting summer. It's going to be a lot of hitting, a lot of offense. So we just got to be patient. And right now I got the standings for the American League East. I have the Tampa Bay Rays are in first place. They're 30-19. They are 10. They have won 11 games in a row, guys. The Tampa Bay Rays are on fire. Followed by the Boston Red Sox at 29-19. They're half game behind. The Yankees are 28-19, and they're 1 game behind. They could leapfrog the Red Sox tonight with a win, and they'll be half a game out of the Tampa Bay Rays if they beat tonight Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, struggling. They have lost 6 in a row. They're 23-23. They're a 500 team, and they're 5.5 games back. And you have the Orioles at 12 games behind. And we'll go on down to the American League Central. The American League Central, you have the Chicago White Sox, who we saw this weekend at Yankees Stadium, Tony La Russa and company. He's got those young kids playing. I think he was the right manager for that ball club, in my opinion. He's a savvy, wise baseball manager who will bring the best out of these young kids, teach them how to play the game correctly. Some people get off-putting with his unwritten rule situation, but you know what? That's baseball. This guy's a lifer. This guy's going to teach them. I think that baseball needs to look back in his past a little bit to embrace what's going on, because we're losing a little touch of baseball with the launch angles, the analytics. It's still good old baseball, hard fought, moving the runners over, bunting, stealing a base, advanced small ball. I think that's the way baseball needs to go. I don't think this all new wave. I understand people will like to see the home run. The home run is exciting. Yes, it is, but it also can get boring. I know people are getting upset that too much strikeouts, too many no hitters. It's watering down the pitching. But hey, you got to hit. You get a lot with the implementation of the shift. You guys hitters got to know how to hit the opposite direction. Just imagine if Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew. You could talk. Talk about great hitters. If they were to be playing in this era with the shift, my God, they'll be breaking that 400 batting average. That'll be a norm, because those are hitters that would go the opposite direction. They would dictate where the ball was going, where the defense wasn't playing. They were slap hitters. They were pesky hitters. Or Vince Coleman. Or Ozzie Smith. Those kind of players would have a feast of famine. So we'll look at baseball the way that goes. Back to the American League Central, we have the White Sox at 27-19. They're leading the Central Division despite being swept by the New York Yankees over the weekend. You have on the heels the Cleveland Indians at 25-20, resilience team. They traded Lindor. Clevenger no longer, they made all these different trades, losing their pitching staff. Bauer's no longer there. Guys come out and they just keep, kudos to Chernoff over there, GM and his guys, and they're really smart scouting, bringing up the young farm system, good developing and pitching, and good smart all around fundamental organization with the Cleveland Indians. I give them credits that they're in a game and a half. Surprising. Unfortunately they're restricted by financial means that they got to trade as soon as a contract comes to one of their big players. They got to see to move them. And hey, that's part of the business. You're in the business to make money, not to lose money. And I understand with the Cleveland Indians. And then followed by the Royals. They're 22-23. They're 4.5 games out. You have the Minnesota Twins at 18-29. They're 9.5. Wow, Minnesota, in my opinion, what a bad season. I expected so much more. They've been in the playoffs, despite the fact they're the Yankees punching bag in the postseason. But the Minnesota Twins, they give that team, that city, a real good team for the past few years, and they just didn't get on a good stride. Their pitching staff was a little old. They didn't upgrade in their pitching staff. They brought in a Jay Happ. We all saw him in the Bronx. Nothing to write home about. He's a serviceable pitcher, but he really struggled. And yeah, that's 18-29 for the Minnesota Twins. And you have the Tigers at 19-29. We knew that was a full rebuilding. The first year, Adrian Hinch is manager, changing the narrative, the culture in that dugout, and trying to bring in his style of baseball. Hopefully, it's not no trash can banging or anything like that. We learned his lesson. But he is a pretty decent manager. He did pretty well in Arizona before the Houston job. And AJ Hinch, give him a couple years, I think he'll turn the Tigers around. And then we head into the American League West. The American League West, we have the surprising every year, always around, sniffing around first place, always around second, wild card, Oakland Athletics. They do this with small ball. They do this with great scouting, bringing players to fit their type of baseball that they want to play, pitching, developing players, getting the maximum out of their talent. And eventually they'll trade them for more blue trippers or more talent. They keep bringing, like I said, shooting shots on goal to see what they bring in. And they're 28, 20, 21, very surprising. They're a very good road team. They're 14-7 on the road, which is a real big key for them, for their success. If they want to be successful, they're a 500 team at home. They need to get better at home. You got to have time dominance, especially if you're going to win a lot of games in Major League Baseball, especially down the playoff season. You don't want to host a couple games. You want to be a strong team at home. And then followed by the Astros. The Astros are right on their heel. Their game out. They're tied identical in the loss column. They're 26-21 with a game out. Followed by the Seattle Mariners. Last time I was on the program, Seattle Mariners was a 500 club. They look like they have lost 4 in a row. They're 22-26, and they're 5.5 games out. You got the Texas Rangers, 22-27, which we saw with the Yankees last weekend down in Arlington in the new ballpark. They're challenge hitting wise as well. They weren't such a good hitting ball club. You can see Joey Gallo's name has been rumored in a lot of trade with the Mets, the Yankees, all around the league. You can see that I can see the Rangers trading off some of these players and trying to get even younger. They're still rebuilding. They're still retooling. And then at last place, you got the Angels, 20-27. I'm 7 games out of first. No matter where Shohei Ohtani could play, he could play every position in the field. They're not going to win. They don't have any pitching. They don't have anything other than that. Mike Trout is injured with the hamstring. He's going to be out until mid-June, maybe longer. But he's went out. He's on a disabled list. A guy that's really hard to stay healthy. Too much talent. It doesn't get magnified because he plays in Anaheim. And the national coverage of the East Coast, don't coverage too much on Los Angeles team. They play too late at 10 o'clock at night. If this guy was on the East Coast, he'll be praised and ridiculed at the same time. If he was in Boston, New York, Philadelphia, because he gets hurt every year for a long, extensive period of time. I don't think if he was playing in the East Coast, he would be a center fielder for long. I think they'll move in the right field because of the injuries and keep him fresh, keep that bat alive. But he's a great center fielder, great generational player. But we just don't see him night in, night out due to the fact of where he plays in the evening. It's so late at night to see that. You get to watch him whenever the Yankees go out of town or when they play on the East Coast, and you get to see him, appreciate him. But he's a very unappreciated player that we don't get to see night in, night out. And then we'll see the Yankees. We saw the bad news of Aaron Hicks. He's on the disabled list. He's surgery. Looks like he's going to be out for the season. The Yankees are scrambling. They could pick up a center fielder. The injury bug is hit all over Major League Baseball. You got the New York Yankees with a lot of injuries. Hopefully, Severino will be back by the end of next month. He's starting to ramp up and ready to go. Brain looks like he's close. He's getting some rehab start. You see Torres came back from the COVID list. Last time we spoke on Bronx Jedi Sports Talk, he was on the COVID list. He came in and what an impact. He said he saw videotape while he was on the COVID restriction list. He saw the tapes. He saw what was going on. He made adjustments. You saw him with a few game winners in the White Sox game. He's starting to hit the ball. Not the power. It will come. I like the way he's spraying the ball, line drive, get up the gap to gap. That's the way you win baseball. That's how you're going. The home runs will come. If you shoot for home runs, you're just going to strike out, feast or famine. I like that contact. Get the ball, put the ball in play. Nothing could go wrong when you put the ball in play. You don't strike more, and you put the defense on its heels. You make the defense run at heels, make plays, and go forward. And one thing that I didn't want to lose focus was this is the week of the Yankees that they did things historically. They had a no-hitter, they had a triple play, and they had a 35-inning scoreless streak. Something wonderful to see with this team. We were all crying about in April. That's why we have to be relaxed. It's a long season when, especially the rough start the Yankees came out. Yeah, the offense isn't there, but the offense is down throughout the whole American League and the whole Major League Baseball, to be honest with you. And you see that they're coming to fruition. The pitching staff, that's a good sign. The pitching staff getting in good rhythm. They work good with Kyle Hachioka and Sanchez, both combinations. Sanchez calls a good game. Remember, Sanchez has been the catcher for since 2016, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And we've won a few 100-win teams. He's doing something right behind the plate. I understand he gets a little lackadaisical. Some people, it nerves him the way his new catching stand with one knee on the ground. All this type of the pass balls. But last few seasons, he has less pass balls. The pitchers seem to thrive with him, as well as Kyle. Kyle is a very good receiver, good caller of the game. He's very savvy, very smart. Cole loves him. You know that. You saw the no-hitter with Kluber. They were on fire. They had everything called, everything. I think Kluber said he only shook Hanyosha twice off through the whole game. And look, and it was close for Kluber to have a perfect game. It was really close. That was a questionable 3-2 count, or three. Actually, the 2-2 count was really questionable. It looked like a strike in CompuBox. It hit the box, but hey, the umpires call. They got a call. That's part of baseball. That's part of all of the tradition in the sport. So you see the Yankees. They're like I said, we'll start measuring, taking the temperature of every American League team. Every team in the major leagues is Memorial Day. You start to see where you're at. You're going to start to see what season, which trending you're heading to. And if you're in first place, you got a good shot. If you're with striking distance, you got time. You got time to make up. You don't want to be no more. You don't want to be double digits out of Memorial Day, because then you have a really extremely uphill climb. Because you got 30 days really to make up some major ground. Because once July comes, the trading deadline, then you have to make a decision if you're going to be a buyer or seller in this market, and that's a tough decision. If you're 10 games out with 70 plus games left, it's nothing mathematically. It's not impossible, but it's like an uphill battle, and you don't know. You're torn between restocking for the future or going for it and trying to make a run and fall short, and you end up with you don't make improvements. So that's a lot of teams around the major league, and that's why Memorial Day is a very big, large measuring stick for them. And back to the standings. I'm going to go to the National League standings. You have the New York Mets 21-20, and the Mets have been decimated by injuries left and right to everywhere. They were on their fourth center fielder, and he got injured. Fargas got injured last night. He hurt his shoulder. It said it's a sprained ACL or ACL, on the shoulder. And they're reeling. They're trying to find a center fielder. They made a trade from Cameron Maybin. They brought him in here to play one of the corner positions. You got no first baseman. You had James McCann, first time ever in the major leagues playing first base. He played first. You don't have Alonso's injured. Smith is injured. They got the good thing about the Mets, they're still holding on to first place barely with their fielding. They're really checking their depth in their team. And despite the fact that Francisco Lindor has not hit, he's still batting under 200. The team is still 21-20. You know, they didn't have a good weekend down in Miami. They lost a lot of close games. You know, they Miami Marlins. You know, it's a rival. They won their Friday 6-5. They lost a real close game 3-1 on Saturday, and then they just lost that last game 5-1 on the Sunday getaway game. 5-1. That wasn't really it's that they're so decimated with injuries. It's a uphill climb offensively. And yesterday to the lonely Rockies, they lost 3-2, despite the fact Drury came up with a pinch hit home run. They made it interesting. They had man on second base. You know, the tying run was on second. McCann grounded out up the middle. But he's slow-footed. And he grounded out, and the game was over. 3-2. The Rockies have been really brutal. They've been brutal all season, and you know, you got to win those home games. But you know what? The Mets, you got a lot of injuries coming in. But the good thing about it, Jacob deGrom takes them out tonight. He's back from his injury, and you know, Jacob deGrom is the energy that they need, that boost offensively. He could hit, and also pitching wise. You know, hopefully they score some runs for him, and he doesn't go for another nail biter 2-1 off the injury list. It'd be nice to him to get a few runs so he could breathe and coast through. You know, get 7 strong innings without too much stress pitching wise. And hopefully the Mets, prevail and beat the Rockies. They need to beat the Rockies because you got the Braves, who started off rough as well in the beginning of the year. They're right on their heels. They're 23-24. No one in the American National League East has really played well. They all struggle up and down. But the Mets has been ravaged by injury. You get the Braves; they're back in it. They're 23-24. They've been 6-4 in the last 10. And you got the Marlins. We did last weekend. That just passed. They're 23-24, 1 game under 500. Donnie Baseball, Derek Jeter and company. They got that team surprisingly playing well. They're playing well. They're developing correctly. We saw them last year sneak in the playoffs. They're progressing proper. They're doing things right. It might be a little slower than Miami fans are want to or care about. But hey, they're getting the job right. They got 2 of the right pedigree men in there, not because I'm biased and I'm a Yankee fan, but they've been taught well. Also, you got the Philadelphia Phillies, 23-25. Man, the Phillies, they're really, man, 3-7. I know that must be killing Joe Girardi. Ever since that Segura feud and this, they've gone in a little bit of a slide. You got to keep an eye on Girardi's team. Hopefully, they snap out of it. They need something to galvanize them to go forward. I hope the Mets win the division. I hope. But I really would like, for Girardi's sake, I would like them to turn it around and get them going. I'm a big fan of Girardi. He's near and dear to me. And you got the Nationals, 23-20. They're all 2 games out. Everyone is within 2 games out of first place. And how poorly this division is. It's really been a detriment to Nationals, to play atrocious. And they're right there. I'm thinking they're going to be sellers. I'm thinking they were going to be sellers in the trading deadline. I'm like, seeing, Scherzer, I'm seeing even Corey Schwarber, who they signed, but they can move them, for some prospects and rebuild. They just won the title a couple of years ago, and teams like that, they don't want to spend too much. Although Nationals do spend money, but they might want to rebuild. They might want to save money. Who knows with that? And then let me go to the National League Central. We got the Arizona Cardinals, 26-21. The Chicago Cubs, 24-22, 1.5 games out of first place. Chicago also started a little rocky, and they're right there. It's a long season, guys. Up and down. Like I said, Memorial Day is the measuring stick for all these teams. You got the Brewers, 24-23. They're 2 games out. The Cincinnati Reds are 20-25. They're 5 games out. You got the Pittsburgh Pirates at 18-28. They're 7.5 games out. Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh this year will be any contention or any move out of that cellar of the Central. It was nice seeing them when they were a couple years ago, when they were getting in there, when they were in the playoffs. They were playing good with McCutchen and company. Man, it's nice to see the city of Pittsburgh get that baseball team up and running again. I hope they rebuild and they retool and they bring some good kids up that will help them move forward. It's nice. It's always good baseball's a little more nicer when Pittsburgh is playing really good and in the thick of things. It's my personal preference. And then we have in the National League was the San Diego Padres are 30-18. The LA Dodgers are 29-18. They're half a game out. They look like they narrowed the ship. They went back. They're back at 9-1 in the last. But the Padres, man, what a season they're having. and they also been injury and COVID and so forth, and they continue to win. That's an inspired club. Kudos to them. And then one thing that I seen it jumped down on the physical Giants. They're 28-19, despite the fact their record, they're having a good season. They were leading this division, until a couple days ago. They were up top of the. They're only a game and a half out. It's not that bad of a deal, but I was surprised when they were leading that far into the season. The Giants are going to be pretty good. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't think they're going to go away. Right now, they're 9 games out of 9 games above 500. They're a pretty good ball club. They're striving, and I think they're going to be a player this season. I think the Giants will be. I think they're going to. I think they're going to be a surprising team. The Colorado Rockies are 19-29. I thought they were one of the worst teams, but with that win last night over the Mets, they jumped up above the Arizona Diamondbacks. Boy, 18-30 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Wow, that's a rough one. Can you see Madison Bumgarner being moved? I can see that. I can see him being moved to another contender that needs a pitcher and rebuild, because they're wow, what a bad signing for him. He went to Arizona. He should have came to an Eastern team, Boston or New York or even Baltimore, if you ask me. They needed pitching. The Baltimore is not quite ready to win, or the Atlanta Braves. They were hot and heavy over Man Bun, and he decided not to go there. Or the Houston Astros. They could have, when they lost Cole, they could have bought a Bumgarner in. That could help. I look for them to make a deal in the trading deadline for Madison Bumgarner in there, because Houston is a pesky team. So we'll see that. We'll see how that goes. We'll see them. Keep an eye on the National League. We got the Mets. They're hosting the Rockies for the next few games. It's a 4-game series. They dropped the first one 3-2. They're currently right now playing. Jacob DeGrom is on the mound. Hopefully, I'll end the program soon, so we can all enjoy the Mets game. And then the Braves come in for the weekend. They got the long Memorial Day weekend celebration in Citi Field. They play Monday night on Memorial Day in Arizona at 9:00. But they have the weekend series, a Fleet Week in New York, it's a good time to catch a ball game at Citi Field and so forth. And then the Yankees for this weekend, I'll bring their schedule up in a second, and we'll see what's on tap around the league as well. I wanted to go over the games around the Major League Baseball to see what's going on, what series are intriguing, what matchups, if there's anything going on. Can the Tampa Bay Rays continue winning? Can they make it 12? Kudos to Kevin Cash. Despite being a rival for the New York Yankees and being a pest and playing in a horrible, terrible ballpark, kudos to him. He's a hell of a manager. He's got that team every night in, night out, playing hard, playing well. They're under talented, but they believe in each other. They play as a team. They play. Everyone knows what their job is gonna do. Their pitching staff. He knows his pitching staff. He knows every member on that pitching staff, when to use them, when to go to the bullpen, when to change, when is a starter, when is a bullpen game. Kudos to Kevin Cash, man. One of the brightest, youngest, smartest managers in the major leagues, in my opinion. And I think the Yankees head down to Detroit for the weekend. They go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to Detroit, to Comerica Park, to Tiger Park, and we'll play them a couple afternoon games Saturday and Monday, and Saturday, Sunday, and Monday we host the Rays. Well, 1:00 game at the stadium. That's going to be fun to see the Tampa Bay Rays, a rival, on Memorial Day. All the soldiers and vets, all the soldiers and sailors that are in the city, hopefully they come out and watch the game. Enjoy a nice game at the Yankee Stadium and enjoy that. And we know that New York is buzzing right now. New York is really buzzing. New York is having a really good sports time. If you're in New York City, enjoy it. Right now, you have the New York Knicks. The playoff New York Knicks play Game 1 in Madison Square Garden Sunday night to a packed crowd of 15,000 ravaging Knicks fans. It was a beautiful scene television-wise. It sounded great through MSG, TNT, with all the platforms, the defense chant, the crowd buzzing. And unfortunately, the New York Knicks fell 107-105 to the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks take the Game 1 of the series. Game 2 will be tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7:00 at the world's most famous arena. Game 2, it's a must-win for the New York Mets. the New York Knicks. They want to even that series heading into Atlanta for Friday and Sunday's game in Atlanta. I think the Knicks will rebound. We also how pesky Trae Young was. We saw a lot of 50-50 balls go Atlanta's way. We saw a great effort by Alex Burke. He scored over 27 points for the game, 18 in the fourth quarter. You had the rookies, Obi Toppin, contributing well off the bench. You saw 62 points from our bench from Derrick Rose. You seen him what a game he had. You seen Emmanuel quickly with ice water in his veins. We just got to get our starters. Julius Randle did not have a good game playing. Nolan Noel, despite having a few blocks, didn't play such a good game. Wasn't a smart game with the pick and roll. He got beat a lot. You saw he might be injured. He might not play on game 2. You saw Alfred Payne gave us nothing off the bench. He's going to now be relegated to the bench. You'll see Tom Thibodeau might not even play him, put him on the shelf. Maybe he'll start it quickly. We're all calling as fans. If you'll subscribe, please subscribe to Nick Real Talk, the YouTube channel. That's where me and my co-host Divine speaks about Knicks-centric, all about Knicks basketball. We go into ins and outs of the basketball team, the Knicks currently, and we invite you to watch us, Knicks Real Talk, the night show and the morning show. So hit the notification bell when that comes on. We'll talk more Knicks. We break everything down. But this is the Bronx Jedi Sports Talk. We talk about all New York sports and all NBA and all sports. So right now we're talking real quick, going over the New York Knicks basketball, the playoff game. And of course, the Knicks shot 43% from the field. They shot 33% from 3-point land. That's a killer. They've been really a good 3-point team all season long, and they didn't hit. Kudos to the Atlanta Hawks. They played their style of game, and the Knicks fell in it. There was a lot of things that needed to be cleaned up. I think Tom Thibodeau and coaching staff will clean up the game plan. I like my coach to game plan correctly and put this team in a position to succeed. Hopefully he learns a little bit from mistake. A little jitters in the beginning of the first quarter. You saw the shots were a little bit hard, long. Nothing was in rhythm. Everything was more. There was a lot of adrenaline. You could see that. We need a big game for Reggie Bullock. I think we need 10 points from Reggie Bullock off the bench or from the starting row. The first few quarters, he usually gets going in the first half. We'd like to see him to go get something like 6 points in the first half and finish around 10, 12 points for the game. That's a good contribution. Seeing that two-man game between him and Randall will be a really excellent going forward. And I think we'll be fine. We'll get that game. We'll get back into the series. We'll get everything going. I think the Knicks will be fine. They'll bounce back. It's a 7-game series, guys. If you're a Knicks fan, the Knicks never do nothing easy. Everything is the hard way, the difficult way, the long road. Nothing comes easy for this team. Everything is work. That's why they're New York City Gritty Committee. Everything has to be a fight, a nail, screw, and you know what? At the end of the day, when you battle and you go through all these testaments and adversities, when you do come victorious, you feel more of a sense of pride because you battled and you remembered all that you had to go through. Pressure is a privilege, and diamonds are made under pressure. That's all I got to say with that. We saw a lot of game ones around the league, and now we've got some games too. Also conclude. You saw the Bucks go up 2-0 on the Miami Heat. Boy, Miami Heat's having a tough playoff series. There's a lot of gripe internally that Jimmy Butler and coaching staff behind the scenes are just at odds, at ease, uncomfortableness, fighting, arguing. The team looks like they're going to get swept by the Bucks. I don't think the Miami Heat doesn't have it this year. I could see Pat Riley and company dismantling that team, making some moves. I could see Jimmy Butler no longer in Miami coming next season. But I'll drop those nuggets once the season's over. I got some nuggets as well that I teased it on Knicks Real Talk, and I will talk about it here. I'll break it here in Bronx Jedi Sports Talk 76. I'll break it down here. We also see the game one, the Brooklyn Nets. They had a game one victory, pretty much close to capacity in Brooklyn, and they won 104-93 game one. Game two is tonight with the Boston Celtics. We'll see if the Nets will go up 2-0. I think so. I think they have too much offensive power for Celtics to combat. Even though the Celtics played them well, they led a few times in the game. They battled. They put a little fright in the Brooklyn Nets, but they came out on top, 104-93. I can see Kyrie Irving having a better game this game than game one. And I see the Brooklyn Nets winning tonight as well. We saw the ups, one of the a couple upsets. You saw the Dallas Mavericks go into the Los Angeles Staples Center and beat the Clippers 113-103. Keep an eye on the Clippers, folks. If there is a first round exit, that team will be dismantled. I think there's going to be a lot of moving parts, a lot of exiting out of Los Angeles, the Clippersville. I can see a lot of exiting from Leonard to George. I can even see Patrick Beverly no longer being there. I can see a lot of changes. Keep an eye on that. That's a big team to keep your eye out. Look at that. Los Angeles Clippers team. Keep an eye on that. That's a big plus. If they go down in the first round, it's 6 games or less. Guaranteed that. You're hearing here from me, Bronx Jedi 76. That team will be dismantled. There will no longer be those guys there. There's going to be a lot. That team's going to look way different coming opening tip off next season. So that's my word on that. And we saw the Nuggets and Blazers play. They played 1 and 2. The Portland Trailblazers shockingly won game 1. They won 123-109 on Saturday, and last night they fell. They fell to the Nuggets on 128-109. Nuggets established their home court. They defended it, despite the fact that the Portland Trailblazers stole game 1 in home court from them. But the Nuggets reminded them who they are and how well they played. And that's going to be a pretty strong battle of knockdown, rigmarole battle up and down. And you saw also game 1, you saw the Lakers and Suns. You saw the Suns beat the Lakers 99-90. A lot of shenanigans at the fouls, bigger fouls, the shoulders, flopping, injuries. There's a lot of drama in that Phoenix Suns Los Angeles Lakers game. So that'll be interesting to see. They play tonight at 10 as well. Game 2 is tonight at 10. And we'll keep an eye on that. And then one of the big upsets on game 1, you saw the Memphis Grizzlies go into Utah and upset the Utah Jazz. Game 1, stole home court, went in and won 112-109. It's the layoff, those playing tournaments, and getting on that hot streak and coming into Utah, on a good high, a good positive, winning those 2 playing games, and caught a cold Utah Jazz team that sat around for a week. And they went in and they took care of business. They're up 1-0, and they play tomorrow as well, game 2. And we saw game 1 between the Wizards and the 76ers. The Wizards made it competitive. At the end, it was a little too much more for the Wizards to handle. They fell 125-118. They're going to need big games for Beal and Westbrook if they want to compete and have a chance to steal any of these games in these playoffs. They're going to have a really strong offensive game because Philadelphia is really talented all around. They're shooters. They got, Joel Embiid. Simmons is a beast. We saw him crashing the glass. We saw him defender. So that's a little bit of a handful for the Wizards. And we know today, later on as well, you got game 2, Clippers and Mavericks. Like I said, that's a series to keep an eye on, folks. If you're a Knicks fan and you're a fan of the Knicks, the Miami Heat, Charlotte, they have money under the cap. That's a team that you need to keep an eye on to see what's going on. See what other situation is going to happen with that team. What's going from there on. What's going to happen. We also have. That's all the games for tonight. Tomorrow we have the Hawks Knicks. You got the game 3 in Portland between the Nuggets and the Trailblazers. Game 3 will be Friday for the Brooklyn Nets and the Celtics, and the Wizards and the Hawks will play game 3 as well. And that's basketball for now. Until we get back to Bronx Jedi 76 Sports Talk, we'll come back and we'll recap that and get those games marinated, and we'll see where we at with that. And with that, New York City, man, you guys got 4 games hosted in a span of a week. You got 2 in the Barclays and 2 in Madison Square Garden. Man, you guys just imagine a year ago, there was nothing going on in the city. There was so much chaos, so much turmoil, uncertainty. It looked like a ghost town. You didn't know what was going to happen. And now you can say that you're hosting 2 playoff games. 2 playoff games. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, guys. That's 2 city phenomenal guys. And now what brings us to another reason why New York is on fire. The New York Islanders went into Pittsburgh Game 5, series tied at 2-2. They took the Penguins to overtime and double overtime. And out of nowhere, the Islanders stole Game 5 from the heated rivals Pittsburgh Penguins. That's been a rivalry for a few years now. And you had Josh Bailey with the game winner. Man, the Islanders are doing something special. Lou Lamoriello, kudos to Lou Lamoriello, kudos to Barry Trotz, to Cizikas, to Clutterbuck, to Palmieri, to Martin. All those guys are greedy. They're a greedy bunch of team. There's still a long way to go. They're 3-2. The series is not over, but they have a chance now to come home to the barn at the Nassau Coliseum and put an ending to the series and move on to the second round. You know, Stanley Cup playoffs is one of the hardest playoffs to win, to go forward. But right now you gotta give kudos to Sorkin, the goalie. Man, Sorkin had 48 saves on 50 shots. You know, and he was blocking shots, and there were so many chances that the Penguins had to try to win this game and go ahead, and the kid was pretty much standing on his head night in, night out. Kudos to him. The Islanders, the grittiness. You know, they're coming home to try to close it out. They got 2 games to try to close it out, and I like my chances for the Islanders to advance. They got 2 to try to get in there, to get in advance and go forward. And then around the NHL playoffs has lived up to a lot of bill. You've seen a lot of a good back and forth game, despite the fact that you've seen a series that are almost over. You see the Bruins taking a 3-1 lead over the Capitals. You got the Predators trailing in the series 2-1 to the Hurricanes. You got a 3-0 Avalanche over the Blues. It's good to see St. Louis in the playoffs. It looked like they might not be there for too long, but hey, it is what it is. And the Battle of Florida, you have the Tampa Bay leading the series 3-1. The Panthers, the Panthers came back last night. They fought it hard, and they try to give their best. It's a 3-2 series now, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a 3-2 series heading into Game 6. Anything can happen. The Lightnings, defending Cup champions. Hopefully they'll close it out. It's a Battle of Florida. You see it all around. You saw the Winnipeg Jets sweep the Edmonton Oilers. Wow, I didn't see that happen. That's a surprising one. The Oilers, they have good player. They got the best player in Connor Tanner. He's one of the best players in hockey. And the Battle of Canadians. Canadians and Maple Leafs. Man, I know that's a good one. That series is 2-1. Toronto leads that series 2-1. The Canadians, gritty team. That's going to be I hope that series goes 7 and in triple overtime, man, because those people in Canada, they love their hockey, and why not 2 iconic teams from Canada go at it like that, and just go that distance, and man, that'd be something. I know if there's a Game 7, I personally will watch it. I usually only watch New York hockey, but if that happens, I would personally watch that game, because that's going to be a really good series. And you had the Minnesota Wild. They're trailing the series with the the Golden Knights from Vegas. They're up 3-2. They won yesterday to stay alive. They're forced at game 6, and they won 4-2. And that's around the hockey league. The playoffs are here. Guys, if I advise you to watch one playoffs of all the major sports, it's a hockey. Hockey playoffs are very intense. It's very, very, very fast paced, up and down, very intense. Especially if you go personally, I say that one of the best sports to watch live is hockey. You got to go experience at least give it one game. Give it 2 periods. If you don't like the 3rd period, actually that's when the really excitement begins. Is in the 3rd quarter. You want to come into game late, 2nd quarter, or whatever the case. But I will say you should take the full experience of hockey. Get a ticket. Take a young kid. Hockey fans are very respectful as well. They're not obnoxious. You go in there, and they're very respectful. You go and you enjoy the game, and you really, really will like the game. It's fast paced. It's quick. It's moving. It's really fun. It's a little bit tough on TV, regular season hockey, but playoff hockey, man, it's intense. It's fast paced and moving, and I think you should all try to see that one game in my opinion. At my advice. And then to conclude, we had something that is rare to see, which I don't know why, but we had a 50-year-old Phil Mickelson win the PGA Championship Tour out in Ocean Course. He won it with a -6. And he beat Bruce Koepka and Ollinston and Higgins. They all were 2 strokes behind. Good old lefty, 50 years of age, winning a major, a PGA Championship. Kudos to him. He's been battled through a lot of ups and downs. Him and Tiger Woods battled in the early 2000s for #1 golfer status. He's in his twilight of his career. I think that might be his final major to win. I think that's it for him. I think he's going to still be in the tour. He's going to be a force, but one of his significant tour wins, that might be it. That might be one of the last ones everlasting. Maybe he might have one left. He might surprise us in the U.S. Open, maybe, or who knows. But good kudos to Phil Mickelson. He had it on all weekend long. He kept the fans engaged, the audience, all eyeballs on him. It's whenever Phil, Tiger Woods. Now you're going to see that with Bryson DeChambeau, even Koepka to a degree. Once they're in the lead and they're in contention to try to close out a major, you get a lot of eyeballs, a lot of TV ratings tend to soar up, and that's good for the game of golf for TV rating wise. And to go forward, but I like the fact that the narrative, 50-year-old, no one's washed up at no age. It's your mind. If you got a mind body, if you've got your mind over matter, you can do anything. You can accomplish anything. It doesn't matter what your age, as long as wisdom, knowledge, and like I said, kudos to Phil Mickelson for winning that PGA Tour, and kudos for him. And we see that now the Charles Schwab Challenge is up next for next weekend for Memorial Weekend. That's another tournament in the PGA Tour circuit, and hopefully Tiger Woods, wherever he's at, he's recovering, he's recuperating. First of all, get healthy. Golf will be secondary. Golf is not going. The links, the courses are not going anywhere. Tiger, just get back. I hope that you break that record. I hope you come back and you win 2 more majors and break that record and right off to the sunset. You made a lot of money and you entertain us. So that's my take on golf. And with that, guys, I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank everybody that listened. I haven't put up a stream yet of when I'm going to come on or when I'm going to be a time slot yet. I haven't fit a time slot. I haven't been able to get the right time slot that I need, but I'll get a time slot so we can get more people to watch us live. Right now, everyone is catching me via replay or reloading. I thank you for taking the time to giving me the opportunity to launch this channel, this platform. We'll get more sports talk. I'll have Divine on here to help me with this program. Launch the sports talk. We'll talk about all sports. We talk about MMA. We talk about boxing. We'll talk about, like you saw, the golf. We'll talk about the Euro Soccer Cup that's coming up in July. We'll talk about Yankee baseball, Mets baseball, football. Giants and Jets. That's coming up soon. Training camp, mini camp, volunteer OTAs. You had Julio Jones. I'm glad I talk about football. Julio Jones, the conversation with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. They asked him if he wants to be with the Cowboys and if he wants to stay in Atlanta. He says he wants out. So that's another turmoil that look for Julio Jones to possibly be on the move. And Aaron Rodgers, he keeps having words, butting heads with his team in Green Bay with the front office. And I can see Aaron Rodgers heading to Denver, the Broncos. I see the Broncos, the only one that could fit to bring him in there. And I can see him going into the Denver Broncos and being the quarterback for the Broncos, Aaron Rodgers, if it doesn't work out with Denver. I think they need to move on. I think they need to go to a Band-Aid, rip off the Band-Aid, and go for that messy divorce with Aaron Rodgers. Let him go on his merry way, and let him go. And just start over. You brought a quarterback in the first round. Partly that's your problem now, Green Bay. You did provoke the bear, so now you have to deal with it. You have to eat it, like I said. And now you know what? Get rid of Rodgers, bring peace, and go into training camp, into the season with the Rodgers. You got a good head coach. You got a good players. You don't want to lose. You don't want to have that negative vibe, that sourness in there, because you're going to lose your coach. You're going to lose the players, and then the coach is the one that's going to go. He pays the price. So that's going forward with that. I think, you know, they should just cut bait with that, in my opinion, and start off, you know, with the new quarterback and just go for it. But guys, I appreciate you guys joining me, spending time here with me in Bronx Jedi 76 Sports Talk. Don't forget, I also going to speak about the fishing report, about what's going on, what's biting in Central Florida, actually in the coast, East Coast and the Gulf Coast of Florida. All the fishes that we catch. I'll have some live videos, live shots when I go out there to the links. I'm just waiting for basketball season to be completed so I can get out there to the waters and fish and get some fishes and put it on our channel. So I appreciate you guys joining me. This is Bronx Jedi 76 saying thank you so much, and I'll definitely catch you on the next one. And guys, many blessings and many thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next time. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. This is Bronx Jedi 76 saying thank you. Guys, have a good night. We'll be back.